Hey, folks, we're live on YouTube. You know, people are talking about that, we have this quarantine and we have this shutdown. Probably the biggest shutdown, work stoppage in American history. So we need to change our frame of mind right now, soon, about this stay-at-home order. We're already not working. We're already at home. It's like we're on strike. You understand? Like, between now and May 1st, when people are calling for a strike, we can change a lot of minds because it's already happening. Now, here's the thing. The economy was collapsing before the virus, okay? They were bailing out trillions of dollars of bailout money, started back in September, and it hasn't stopped. Then the pandemic hit, and that kicked the legs out from underneath the stock market, and then suddenly it seemed like, oh, the economy's collapsing. It already was collapsing. And the pandemic just accelerated a certain portion of the market to more visibly collapse. I mean, the media was not talking about the bailouts that had begun in September. So what I think needs to happen is people need to realize that this is a moment in history that started for one reason, but it can become something else. It can become a strike. This is a possible, incredibly powerful means of leverage, and we should demand one thing. We should demand one thing. They need to wipe out all the privately held debt in the hands of the American public. Wipe out the debt. Wipe out the mortgages debt. Wipe out credit cards. Wipe out automobile loans. Wipe out student loans. They all go to zero. And I don't want to hear people complaining because they didn't go into debt, so now they don't get a nice car. And they didn't go into debt, so they don't have a house. Tough luck. The benefit of eliminating, zeroing out, jubilee, whatever you want to call it, private debt in the hands of the American public, the benefit is so good that it outweighs the few people who are going to say, I got ripped off. I don't care. Sorry. And they fooled us back in 2009. And they created trillions of dollars, and they bailed out the financial sector. And it's happening all over again. And they can fool us once. Shame on them. If they fool us again, we are stupid. All debt in the hands of the American public, all private debt in the hands of the American populace is $27 trillion. Now, I would argue they've probably already handed $27 trillion to these financial sector criminals since September. But you could certainly prove that they handed that much money to these financial sector criminals since 2009. So, MMT is the way things operate now, whether you like it or not. The powers that be, the decision makers at the top, have used this MMT infinite money tree to fund every single terrible bad idea that they have. It took money to fund the deindustrialization of the United States. It takes money to wage endless wars. I never heard of the Defense Department pulling out of some place because, oh, well, we ran out of money. They know and they spend, and they realize that they do spend like there's infinite money. Neil Kashkari just said it on 60 Minutes. We have infinite money. We're the Federal Reserve. So, if that's the rules of the game, they're telling us one thing and they're behaving in another way. Because they tell us, oh, we can't afford it. Oh, we can't afford to build that. Oh, we can't afford to provide that. How are we going to do it? We're going to have to raise your taxes. We're going to have to do this and that. No. They tell us that we have to live in a budget and they have no budget. So that's, I don't know. I mean, I really look at the tree of American problems with all of its branches has one big trunk. And that is that the money, the distribution of the money is inequitable. You can't tell the public that you have to live within your means and spend money like you're a household, while at the same time you know that you have the money tree. And I am of the firm belief that so many seemingly unconnected problems in America right now, joblessness, desperation, racism, xenophobia, drug addiction, all of that, really, you could argue that it really does have a common denominator. There would be less depression. There would be less racism if people got paid fair. So, that is all I wanted to say. I'm totally down with this becoming a strike. And I hope that we can, I don't know, realize it in time before this moment ends, this monumentous moment. It's monumental. It is epic. And total debt jubilee. That's nothing less than that. All right, going to end the stream.